packed down rather tightly. I don't know what that's like right now. The major thoroughfares have been snow plowed away, but as you can see, it keeps coming down in big fluffy flakes, and it's pretty much taking care of that snow plow job, and so you got to be very, very careful. Some of the major thoroughfares about 2 hours ago, Oakwood was fairly decent. The snow was packed down rather tightly. I don't know what that's like right now. Whitesburg still has the consistency of Daytona Beach. It feels like you're driving on sand. The parkway itself is closed. You can't go over those bridges. Some of those little service roads along the parkway are open and fairly decent driving. We're seeing people drive by right now. It looks like we're in a winter wonderland. Actually, we're right close to the parkway. We found some beautiful bushes and trees here that look especially inviting with all this snow. But it is very, very dangerous out here, so stay at home. Don't go out unless you absolutely have to. If you do have to, make sure you got snow chains on your tires or you're in a four-wheel drive vehicle. That's about the only way you can get around. Still, with snow chains and in a four-wheel drive, you got to be very, very careful. Give the other guy plenty of room. Give yourself plenty of room to make a mistake, and just try to avoid the next guy. And sometimes when you get into some of those drifts, it's very difficult to get out of them, because you're trying to drive in someone else's tracks, and it builds up so much snow in the middle that it can send you off to one side. So you got to be very careful. Missy?
Don, we were talking here in the studio, and normally here in the Tennessee Valley we'll get an inch, 2 inches. It gets slushy, it's yicky, but you know, I think this is the prettiest snow I can remember since the early 60s, I guess. I mean, this is a good snow.
Yeah, well, those early 60s snows I remember in home movies. Mom and Dad showed me out pretty much dressed like this, but quite a bit younger. Beautiful snow. It's very dry. I guess if I were a snow skier, it would be marvelous. So far, we haven't seen any kind of freezing rain or anything like that. I'm sure some of the bridges are becoming slushy, and some of the roadways becoming a bit slushy. But so far we don't have any ice problems, so it is decent snow driving. It's a heck of a lot better than driving on ice. So it's...
Who have taken their rulers outside and found a flat spot and tried to give us an accurate look at what was happening with regard to the snowfall. But at this hour, you can see that the heaviest snowfall is located west and then gradually less as we head east, mainly because the snow started west first and now continues over the entire valley. Memphis, about 8 inches of snow reported on the ground. It's still snowing quite intermittently. Tupelo also reporting intermittent snow at this hour, but there's plenty back to the southwest. The Shoals, unofficially, around 11 inches. The last official report we had was 8 inches, but it was snowing at the rate of about 1.5 inches an hour. Priceville, approximately 10 inches of snow. Huntsville reporting, as of 5 o'clock this morning, 8 inches of snow. And Scottsboro, approximately 6 inches of snow. It continues to snow. Now, there's a mixture of snow and sleet south of this line. Anniston, Gadsden checking in this hour with a combination of sleet and snow. Further south from Birmingham southward, freezing rain that falls and then freezes upon contact with the surface of the earth. We'll show you the radar summary from this past hour, give you a little look at what exactly is going on and why there is a continued heavy snow warning for the northern portions of Alabama and for southern Tennessee for today, in anticipation of an additional up to 6 inches of snow. We already have hit historic proportions. There's never been a snowfall as great as this one recorded in Huntsville. To the south of us, that line of freezing rain and then rain across central Alabama. And it's significant to note that the 6 o'clock reports from across the state indicate that both Muscle Shoals and Huntsville have light snow, while Birmingham and Anniston are reporting sleet, a transition between snow and freezing rain. Centerville, in the center of the state, is reporting freezing rain, and Maxwell Air Force Base outside of Montgomery is reporting light rain. So there is quite a shift in precipitation type as we head southward across the state. Now, this is how things look on radar, how they have looked over the last 6 to 8 hours. As we put the radar into motion, a few things that I want to note. The rather rapid flow from west to east. This is where our moisture is coming from. Almost the entire area is that light, bright green, which would represent snow. Snow does not allow for much of a radar bounce, so even heavy snow shows as a light green patch on radar. Now, more substantial areas, and you can see this area to the south extending from near Gadsden, from Oneonta, for instance, down to Birmingham, is a darker green with some embedded yellow. This would represent sleets, which does have a much greater reflectivity, or some rain, some freezing rain as it hits the ground. And indeed, the late reports out of Birmingham indicate that precipitation was increasing across the Birmingham area and that icing was in the process of worsening. Bessemer police reported very heavy sleet and some freezing rain. Ice was collecting on trees and power lines. Streets in the downtown Bessemer area are a solid sheet of ice. So long as the color remains a bright green, really indicates that we're seeing nothing but snow, and that makes a major difference with regard to potential power outages across the valley. Now, we'll show you the satellite view and try to put things into perspective here. The center of high pressure, that glob of very cold air that's been overspreading the southeastern portion of the country, extends well into the Tennessee Valley. Yesterday afternoon, temperatures got no warmer than the upper 20s. We've fallen back to the low and mid-20s throughout the course of the night. Muscle Shoals, for instance, is at 20 degrees at this hour, and that is at the surface of the Earth. But this storm system, and we'll put this into motion, as it moves from west to east, is lifting warm, moist Gulf air up to upper levels of the atmosphere and over this block of cold air. And so the precipitation in warmer air sits above us, and precipitation over the valley, of course, falls as snow, but further south, it is this freezing rain. When will it end? Well, here is the end line. You can see that it extends from Arkansas through Louisiana. Will probably take about another 8-9 hours before it passes us. In other words, late this afternoon into this evening before we see the snow end, but probably not before we see another 4 to 6 inches of snow accumulation generally across the valley. This is where it was last night. As we put the whole animation sequence together, you can see the line of freezing rain extending close to the Tennessee Valley as the snow continues moving on to the north and east. We'll continue to keep you updated. I'll have a new report, so there are many ways.
Crews, as they were snow plowing the streets, and they were they kept waiting for the snow to slack up, but as you can see, it hasn't slacked up a bit, and it just keeps on coming. So they went on out at 3 a.m. and began plowing streets. Bear in mind, since 3 a.m. there's been a lot of snow that's come down, so some of the streets that they've plowed are already being covered over with more snow. They are continuing to plow the streets. I understand the State Highway Department will be out snow plowing Governor's Drive, University, and the Parkway perhaps as daybreak falls on us. As you can see, there's been a steady stream of cars coming by me, folks who obviously feel they've got to get to work. The Parkway itself is closed. We're standing right by the Parkway. This is a service road, and if you can see, some of this snow is packed down pretty tightly. Still tough driving conditions. You get out anywhere else, you're going to have to deal with this mess. We're talking about a foot of snow, give or take a few inches. When you get into this thick of snow, it's almost like driving on sand, and it's very difficult. If you get out of your neighbor's tracks, you're going to have some problems. There's no telling where you might go. So the work